I genuinely think this is the car that is going to make me bankrupt. So let's get into finding out why and, well, where it's been. So for anyone new to the channel, this is my Ferrari 360. I bought it when I was 24 and I've owned it for 3 years, which brings us now to when I'm 27. This car's been really reliable and actually cost a lot less than most people would expect. One of the major issues with a car like this, or everyone says, is maintenance and the costs that come with it. Now, up until this point, I really thought it was a cheap proposition to own. And now that sounds a pretty stupid thing to say, but this car's worth pretty much what I bought it for, if not a little bit more. And well, if I'd sold it last year, I would have been quids in. But I've just had the biggest bill of my life. So let's wind back to the beginning of the story. And well, it all started about 3 or 4 months ago when this car was up for sale. Someone said that they thought it needed a few bits doing, mainly the rose joints underneath the car in the suspension. So I booked it in to have it looked at a local garage, and they said I had nothing to worry about. I gave them 3 things that I wanted fixing, and they told me it doesn't need any of them. So a month later, when it went in for MOT, I was shocked to find out it failed on the 3 things that I'd specified. So after all that, I was pretty frustrated and didn't know where to go. So I got in contact with Bob Houghton's in Cheltenham. They're a Ferrari specialist. I genuinely can't say enough about Bob Houghton's. They've been fantastic on this journey. It's just simply the fact of the car needed a lot more than we knew about. So it's had all that done, and I'm going to run you through exactly what's been done to this car. You'll also want to stick around to the very end to find out what I'm actually going to do with this car. It's no secret this car was up for sale, and well, it hasn't been because it's been away for so long, but now it turns over. Well, what do I do with it? Now I have it back, do I want to keep it, or is it still on the chopping block? As you guys can see, like literally I've got pages and pages here. Could have well been the service history for this car, and it was all spent in 1 day. So we'll run through those and work around the car appropriately. The first on the list is something in this interior, and well, it's not the gear lever, it's the handbrake. Apparently the handbrake has been seized basically the whole time I've had this car. I just thought it was notoriously bad because it was a Ferrari handbrake, but now it clicks. It was completely seized, and basically they had to strip the whole interior to get to the handbrake cables. The handbrake cables were only like 30, 40 quid, but the work and labour to get the whole interior out was much, much more. Then we go on to the MOT fail, which were the rose joints. So it was actually only 3 of them that were technically at the point where they could be a fail, but I made sure to do all 4. So yeah, that's 4 rose joints and quite a lot of labour to do those. Now the next one I can't even show you because, well, it's in the underpinnings of the car. And basically that was the ABS module. For the last 2 or 3, 4 months, basically every time I drove this car, I would potentially get a flashing ABS light. It wasn't all the time, it was only every so often, and most notably it always seemed to be when it was wet outside or cold. So I always thought it was just a small connection. We thought wheel speed sensor. So the car went in for this flaw, and well, what they discovered was way, way worse. The ABS module is situated in the front, behind the front trunk. So to get to it is pretty labour intensive. When they got to it, well, they could see why it didn't work. It was corroded, big time. They thought it was seized solid. So what they did was they whipped it off and they sent it off for testing. And alongside that, they then changed the brake cables that go into the unit because they were pretty done anyway. Nice thing about them was they were only like £5–10. The ABS module, on the other hand, not £5 or £10. So the ABS module came back and the prognosis was, well, not good. They realised this thing was completely seized solid and it would need a new motor. Well, the motor itself was only a Bosch motor, but good luck getting one. Apparently we're in this awkward time where a 360 is not old enough to be something that other people or manufacturers start creating the products for, and also not new enough that they actually stock the parts. Ferrari do not sell this part anymore, which means you can't get one, and they go for upwards of £5,500. So I had to be a little bit tactical here. So I spent evenings basically trawling the web to see if the part was used on anything else. And unfortunately, although the ABS part was similar, it wasn't the same. I got close with a Vauxhall Zafira, I got close with a Fiat Ducato, and well, they just weren't the right part. As I was looking, there were none available. Couldn't find one anywhere. Until one Friday night. I checked eBay, and for some reason, when I searched on Google, it opened US eBay, and there were 3 available. One was $4,000, one was $2,800, and one, a motor alone, was $300. So I jumped on it. I made sure the part was correct. I cross-referenced it with Bob Houghton's, who were fantastic once again, and I purchased the part. It came. We then were able to take the module back from the people who tried to fix it and then put the motor connected to the ABS module and the computer, and we put it back in the car. So we hoped the problem was fixed. We started the car up, tried to run it, and well, the ABS light was still on. There was still a fault. Now, we'll get onto it in just a minute, but there's something that doesn't really make sense here, and I wonder whether it was something like the code didn't clear appropriately, but I didn't want to take any risks. That evening, I looked on eBay in the UK, and an ABS module had come up. After all these weeks of trying to find one, and then having the issues of trying to buy parts for one, finally one module came up, and I couldn't take the risk. I had to buy it. The thing with this was, it ended at 7 in the morning on Sunday, which is never a good time to finish an eBay listing, because who's awake at that time? I mean, I had been on a night out before, but I was getting up. I had it, I needed it, and well, I was pretty determined. So I worked out in my head that my maximum bid on this was going to be around about the £1,100-1,200 mark. The thing is, it didn't go anywhere near that. I was the only bidder, and I won it for £600. The issue was, I then started getting frantic messages as the owner had then woken up, saying, cancel the order, you got it way too cheap, I can't sell it for that, etc, etc. So I ended up having to come to an agreement where, look, if you let me pick it up, I will give you cash. So I came up to my £1,100 mark. I gave them £500 cash on the day. And well, they didn't reply. So I thought, well, I think I've lost this. I think they're going to go dark on me. They're going to go to the point where, you know, all I can really do is try and get their account taken down on eBay. But realistically, does that solve anything? They wouldn't have sold me the product that I needed, and I had to try and keep them on side. So it was a bank holiday Monday. I woke up on the Monday and I thought, you know what, I'm going to just message them. So I said, can I come and collect tomorrow? I just got back reluctantly, yes. So we were in play. So I had to drive to Birmingham. I collected the part. I dropped it straight off to Bob Houghton's, and success. It worked. The issue is, though, obviously through this, the ABS module came on and off the car, which was quite a lot of labour in doing so. Once that was all resolved, then it was pretty much plain sailing. We realised then we could just get on with its major service, which was cam belts, filters, etc., and keep on moving. And then there was another issue. They did the oils, they did the filters, all good. And then when it came to the belts, they realised that they couldn't even tell what the timing was meant to be on my 360. Now the issue is, it's a 75,000 mile car, and it's 25 years old. And now realistically, you need to do the belts every 3 to 4 years on a Ferrari 360. So in that time, it's got to have been done, what, 5, 6 times? And every time someone has done it, well, they've put different markings on the pulleys. So they didn't know what the correct timing was. In doing so then, they had to basically take the camshaft covers off, see the timing, and then do it to the point that they were happy with it. And well, I've got to say, it does drive better. It sounds different on idle. So I do wonder whether it was slightly incorrectly timed for a little while. And well, honestly, having the car back, it is driving fantastically. But then that comes up to the bill. So then that opens up the question that everyone will be asking. And well, a word of warning for anyone trying to buy a 360, you will potentially get a bill like this at some point. All the points that I basically had to have done were wear and tear items and basically just needed doing because of the age of the car. The issue then comes is you have Ferrari tax on the parts, and that's if you can even get the parts. Now, it's one of my biggest frustrations with this car and Ferrari as a brand recently, is that I've gone from it being my absolute favourite brand to realising, well, a Porsche 911 is the one to live with. A Porsche 911, you can buy the parts off the shelf, they're ready to go, and you don't have this problem where you just cannot get the parts. And if you find those parts, you'll pay a fortune. So that opens up the total. And well, we've gone through all the parts, we've gone through what's been done to the car, and well, it is driving fantastically. The one bit that's not fantastic for me right now, and feels like it's going to bankrupt me, is the bill. The invoice was £9,376.43. And well, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.